What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Deadpool 2 review here on youtube.com/kindafunny. I'll be your host, taking you through this evening's gala event. I'm Nick Scarpino. To my right, the man with the best hair in the business, the person that I call my friend, and he calls me his frenemy, Andy Cortez.
Jimmy Chongas.
Jimmy Chongas is right, but we don't call him that to his face. Ladies and gentlemen, to Andy's right is Mr. Kevin Coelho.
Hey, guys.
You see what I did there?
I did.
I was like, should I say that or not? But then I was like, already.
You sound so stoned right now.
Oh,
They're
I'm
gonna
so tired.
They're gonna think we're so like.
We went
drunk
to
or
the
something.
7 o'clock showing, and we
Yep.
had a great little dinner beforehand at the mall food court. And I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed your company, guys, there. I just wanted to watch the movie and go home.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come back and do this, but I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. So this is not going to be an MCU in review. This is going to be an old school kind of funny review. So we're going to do spoiler free for the first 5-ish or so minutes.
Yeah.
Give us some impressions, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty. So going around the table, Kevin, kick it off. What did you think of Deadpool 2?
I really enjoyed it. Thought they did a great job. Great sequel. I thought that the production value, like you can feel that this movie had a lot more money, and it,
Yeah.
and to me that made it better. Yeah, I really liked it.
Okay. Andy, what about you?
I enjoyed it as well. I didn't think it was as good as the first one. I thought it suffered from a lot of pacing issues, but other than that, yeah, I liked it a lot. I mean, we were laughing loud at most of the jokes. Some of them fell flat, but yeah.
I thought this movie was incredibly pointless, incredibly stupid, and incredibly enjoyable.
Sure.
And it's weird to say all of those in the same sentence, but I really do feel that. This is one of those, this is like the definition of a popcorn flick. So much so to me that it was almost like purposely done to be against everything else that we've seen before. And that's kind of what I liked about it, right? Small story, insular story, has nothing really to do with any of the other universes because Lord knows where all this stuff's going to wind up. And they play with that and they make fun of everything. And it's just, there aren't really any rules that really need to give a shit about in this. It's just super fun. Do you guys recommend that people see this in the movie theaters?
I do, yeah, but maybe they should see it in XD though, because
We promised Joey that we weren't going to say this.
oh.
No, we
But
never
now that
promised
you've let the cat out of the bag, let's chase that and see what street it
Let's
goes
chase
down.
that cat.
We walk into the movie theater, which, by the way, shout out to the Century.
By the
9
way,
theater.
and she's not in the back room glaring at us.
No, not at all.
No.
I felt her like presence as she came.
Yeah.
She's there still, isn't she? Don't talk. We walk into the Century 9 theater, which, by the way, have amazing seats. And I just noticed this is the first time the distance between your reclined foot and the barrier for the next row is like 8 feet.
So much space.
I could have slept on that thing. I
People
love
could
that.
walk by. You don't have to adjust
Oh
at
God,
all.
it's lovely. You don't have to worry about them hitting your foot and like doing that
Magical
thing from
stuff.
Misery where they just cobble you.
But there's this weird thing about other theaters where I'm always worried that there is a little bit of a gap between the floor and the wall, even though there's
usually
not.
isn't.
But I always feel like there is, and I'm worried my foot's gonna like kind of get caught in like an
Very
imaginary
odd thing
gap.
to be worried
Something
about.
happened to you as a child, didn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
okay, no, honestly, like this isn't. I don't think this is an XD issue or a non-XD issue.
I feel like, well, I mean,
the
for
sound
sure.
mixing was terrible.
The sound
in this
mix
No,
in
movie.
our
I
theater
actually
was
think
abysmal.
I think that was a shitty theater that we got, because like it seemed like all the audio was just like we were too far deep for it to hit us right.
Yeah, maybe.
No,
but there were moments where like Cable would pull out a gun and you're like, oh, it's gonna sound cool, and it would just go pa pa pa. And you're like, that
Well,
was
the
really
center
underwhelming.
channel was so low. The back channels were incredibly loud.
I just think if
And-
we had the XD experience, we wouldn't be as concerned
So
about
Joey,
these
but
issues.
the inside joke that we'll let you, the listener and or
Can I get a
viewer,
Reese's Pieces, please?
in on is that
Do you want some? Nick, do you want some?
I would love some Reese's Pieces. Just
Joey,
a couple,
I didn't
though.
fuck up the movie purchase.
Just a couple though, just for me. There it is, right there. So we walk by the XD, and there's a 6 o'clock showing, and Andy goes, or actually I think it was Kevin, was like, "Wait a minute, was there a 6 o'clock showing of this?"
Slipped.
And Joey's like, "I don't know, whatever." And it was in the XD theater, and we literally walked by it as we went to ours, and it's like this amazingly
Yeah.
ornate entrance.
they've seen it.
With
They've
this
seen
like, oh God, it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And so naturally we're like, well, you know, really not Joey's fault. She's very busy doing
Can you get me a
1,000
Reese's
things.
Pieces
But
from-
here, just give him a couple Reese's Pieces for Christ's sake. But we still gave her shit for it.
You piece
Um,
of shit.
Do you have any criticisms of this film before we go into spoiler territory?
It did have like several jokes that fell flat. That like the first
I
one,
would say
didn't
like
feel-
half the jokes fell flat.
I wouldn't go as far as half, but like something like 30% of them fell flat.
I'd go closer to half than 30. Yeah.
The thing is, they didn't just fall flat. Like they were cringeworthy.
Yeah.
There were a lot of like it had a lot of great moments though that I think to me cancel those out.
Yeah.
But like there were a lot of jokes where I was like, "Why? It's not funny.
Yeah.
Don't commit to that."
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at this film as sort of like a break from good Marvel movies. You know, like I wouldn't say this is good.
Remember, this is a Fox
but
movie.
it's I know, but I'm saying like they're kind of. I mean, it's like a Marvel movie.
If I were to put a
It's
number,
closer,
I
it's
would
closer.
say like barely at a 7.
Oh,
like-
I think I'd put it a little bit like an
Like
eight.
maybe a 6.993
Out of 10 or out of
hate you.
20?
I hate
Okay.
you.
Out of 10, yeah.
a 6.993.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I aside from the humor, some of it falling flat, I think this movie just it felt like it was struggling to get its footing for a lot of it. In my opinion, like I felt like when you're in a movie and you get that feeling like, all right, now we're going, and that momentum was never really there, and I do think the audio had a lot to do with
It
it
really
because
did.
Again,
just-
I think if we had the XD experience,
it
we
just-
wouldn't be as upset.
it really took me out of it. It honestly like almost ruined the experience
It
for me.
just didn't sound like we had any speakers behind us. All the
Yeah.
speakers were in front of us. And
Well, but barely in the center. And then it would be like, pa, 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 surround sound. Whew, like, Jesus, dude, this is ridiculous. But
also, if I'm going to be honest, we were really far back. Like that screen, jokes aside, was a lot smaller than I
Sure, yeah.
expected.
It was
to be.
ratio-wise,
Yeah.
a little bit smaller than
Yeah.
my 55-inch TV in my
like 5 feet away
yeah
from your
5 feet away
55
from that.
Yeah.
I do, yeah, the pacing issues, I do feel like it struggled to get going. And there was just a lot of moments where this felt like an early cut of the movie.
Yeah.
To me, this felt like there were plenty of jokes that could have been cut. Like this was like one of the early drafts that they showed, and then they go back and cut it like 6 more times. It just felt really unbalanced and like weird. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, a lot of it was. I mean, again, these are criticisms that'll render. I mean, it was a blast to watch. It was super fun.
It was a lot of
and
fun.
I didn't go in expecting it to be
Right.
even what the first one was, which to me is still again the same experience of like, let's just have fun, turn some stuff on its side,
Yeah.
enjoy it, get out, not really think about it again until my wife goes, should we watch this? And I go, well, let's see where this goes. Let's see how my wife sees
Are you
about
going to
this.
watch it again with your wife?
I'm
if
not
she
gonna.
wants to?
I won't go see it in the theaters. No, she won't see it in the theaters. But when it comes on demand or if it comes on Netflix, I'll sit her down and watch it and see. She liked the first one, but from the comfort of our own home.
Yeah.
So in that regard, yeah. But I mean, it did have some problems. Obviously, like Cable has not much of an introduction whatsoever. I thought some of the fight scenes. Actually, I thought most of the fight scenes were a little bit boring.
What?
You know.
Oh, I really liked that.
Some of them were good, some of them were cool, but some of them I was just like,
agree,
these
I
are
agree.
okay. You know, for a movie that has so many funny like little touch surprises.
Yeah.
The fight stuff seemed pretty straightforward.
I really, really like the first fight scene that we see. That's the kind of like the.
Should we go into spoilers?
Let's wrap this part up and then we'll go into spoilers.
I was-
We are getting into spoilers. Ladies and gentlemen, go see Deadpool. Obviously, you're going to see it. It's fun. It's dumb. It's exactly like Deadpool 1. If you like Deadpool 1, spoilers. You're
Yeah,
gonna like
same
this one.
fourth wall breaking, same
Yeah.
sort
A
of.
Even
lot,
more
I felt
this
like
time.
a lot more,
A lot
and
more
I
this
liked
time.
it. I really liked it.
And a lot more bravado as far as like, we are fearless now. Let's piss everyone off and just make fun of everyone. I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, they're like, we have money and confidence now, so let's go even deeper
Let's see if
into
we can't
talking
get
shit.
sued.
Yeah.
So, okay, now we're going to go into spoiler territory. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen Deadpool 2 and you're going to get all pissed off at us because we said something about like a cameo or something like that, this is your fault. You've been forewarned. Kevin, put the spoiler bro graphic up.
These are
we
the-
don't-
That's
don't
not what we do on
that.
the show.
These are the
no.
spoiler hands. We all put our hands up so that when they scroll forward, they see our hands up. So everybody put your hands
You
up.
look
Just
dumb.
stop watching. At this point, stop watching.
You look
Come
like a
back.
dumb scarecrow.
Give us the second view.
Yeah.
We need it.
You look like a stupid guy. Okay, so
We did. Yeah,
I
please.
mean, this movie had so many. We do.
let me just from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's starting with the little Wolverine action figure. Was so
The Logan action figure.
the
Yeah,
Logan
him
action figure,
speared.
which is the last scene
Yeah.
in Logan.
I love it.
Little marionette thing
what
or
a
whatever.
what a great way to start, and for like him to go into that little speech being like, "Oh man, Logan died in this movie, so will I."
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Was it just it told you where the tone of the movie was going to go,
Yeah.
and I think that it nailed that.
Oh, definitely. And
Yeah.
I mean, the first scene you see of him like clearly about to kill himself and blow himself to
Yeah.
pieces, I think is a fun start to the movie. Even though you know, obviously, like
Yeah.
spoilers, he's not gonna be able to do that.
He's like, fuck Logan for having regenerative power.
Right.
Fuck Logan for blah, blah, blah. And also fuck him for dying in a movie.
Right.
So
If he
I'm
can
going
die,
to
I'm
do
gonna
that.
die
Yeah.
too.
It's sort of like him getting revenge, I guess, at Wolverine.
I mean,
But it's just like
it's
him
silly.
being like, "Hey, they
Yeah.
copied our rated R thing."
It's silly, yeah.
because I
Oh,
proved
yeah.
that it works.
That was the
Yeah.
other line,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
to me, the beginning of the movie was fun, and then got immediately disjointed. Where you're like, we're gonna go back in time. He's gonna let me bring you guys up on this, like, to speed on what's been going on. He's been killing a bunch of bad guys that don't matter.
See, I like that. Well, like like him going to different like places and killing different people.
It made sense.
Was really cool.
And then they kill her, and I thought that was a really emotional scene.
I think it was super well done though, because it like for I don't know what 10 minutes. It's like, man, this is really sad. Yeah. Am I happy she's dead? Yes. I can't stand Deadpool when he has a girlfriend, wife, or whatever.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, he just acts different. So getting rid of that character, made me so
she sort
happy.
of anchors him in reality, where he gets to go be crazy. Because like when he puts when he's Wade Wilson, he's kind of normal, like a normal quasi-adjusted human being. When he's Deadpool, he's off the fucking rails.
Off the rails, and that's what I wanted. I wanted as much Deadpool as possible, and I think this movie did a really good job of being like, hey, look, this is where we last left the character. How do we get him back to this place?
Yeah.
And like they nailed it.
I agree. And then we sort of get into like that part I guess did gel well for me, but then we just sort of jump to Cable.
Right.
And it's just like, what's going on?
I know.
We see that he's standing over the body of clearly his dead family. But
right.
Like,
that all made sense.
It made sense in context of like the overall story. I just feel like Cable was the character I was looking forward to most, and he was the character that I love Josh Brolin, don't get me wrong, but he was just the character that didn't really do much. Like he didn't seem that cool.
He was the MacGuffin. Like like who is the villain in this movie?
But he also didn't I don't know, because he didn't seem like he was that ominous. Like given if Wade Wilson had his powers full and his swords, he probably could have taken him, and he kind of does at the end, right? Like midway through the movie, he basically owns him.
Does he?
Kinda.
Doesn't he get his ass beat in
that
the
bus
car?
scene? That bus scene.
No, he like fucks him. Well, he takes the bus down with him, and then the Juggernaut like. Poof.
Yeah.
They're fairly well matched.
The Juggernaut's in the movie.
Juggernaut was so cool.
I was feeling like going into the movie, I was like, okay, I'm hoping they can somehow have the Terminator 2 vibe where like Cable is just this unstoppable. And he just didn't feel that way. He just felt like another mutant that had powers, but was fairly well matched, even against Wade in the prison scene, where they basically they stalemate.
Well, in the prison scene, in the prison scene, he beats his ass.
Yeah, but at the end they kind of tie.
And he gets the
which
gun.
also was weird because I was like, why didn't he just climb back up the hill into the prison and kill the kid?
Nick, it was like a mountain. Why didn't he climb a whole mountain?
But so it was easier for him to traverse back to the city than it was for him to climb like 20 feet back up to the hill.
It was not 20 feet.
It was not 20 feet.
It was definitely at least
I just feel like he
up.
went. I feel like he traveled back in time, destroyed like half the prison guards, like clearly beat the shit out of them, and then just bounced after Wade Wilson kicked his ass. It was weird.
In the prison scene, we did get the start of the worst running dubstep joke that is 6 years too late.
That was one of those jokes that I felt
like, why are you committing to this?
Well, dubstep hasn't been relevant ever. In the last 6 years.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like this joke would have made sense 6 years ago or 8 years ago when we were just getting towards the end of that sort of phase.
Yeah,
I don't know that. Obviously that's to nitpick a movie for like just
but that's all this joke is.
But they went back
to just one excuse to do a joke after joke after joke, and it's relentless.
They did it three more times.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Or
every
two more times.
Other sentence uttered is some reference or some joke. And again, I got no problem with that because again, 50% of them didn't land. That means 50% did, and I legitimately laughed out loud. I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
all the stuff with him and
Peter.
No. Peter was funny, but the stuff with Yukio.
Oh my god,
that shit!
So funny,
fucking nail, and they did it like 10 times, and it just kept getting more progressively ridiculous.
It's
it was
insane
so well
how
done.
much your sense of humor is just who Deadpool is.
I love it.
It's great. It was hilarious. So many of the little the jokes were like, oh man, that's Nickism, right? Karate. I was like, fuck.
A moment that you laughed really loud at was the airplane scene when Domino is talking, and then he goes, "That's enough out of you, Peter," or something like that. And he's like, "I wouldn't say that."
It was so good. It had such great moments.
Well, let's talk about some of the moments that I thought were either really big reveals or like kind of fun twists. One, there was a couple cameos in this of characters that I didn't think, or actors that I didn't think were going to be in it that clearly were in it, and a character. So namely the Juggernaut. I did not know Juggernaut was going to be in this.
I had no idea.
I had this spoiled for me.
That's crazy.
When he
thank you IGN. Thanks IGN.
Fucking is it the bush? Is it the Dornbush?
No, it's just like on one of their fucking articles. Like, I'm not. This is one of their.
I'm sorry, Bush. I'm sorry.
Just a tweet or
Dornbush
Facebook
is a princess.
post
He's the golden boy.
Fucking shit.
I apologize.
No, but again, the thing though that I was telling Kevin about this though is that like even getting that spoiled didn't really affect me that much. If this was like in the Avengers, if something big happened in Infinity War. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
look, I could tell everyone.
I would have cared a lot more about this. I saw the Juggernaut. There was like, oh, Juggernaut's probably going to be in the movie because look at these heat signatures. Look at this big guy or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That'll be neat.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, obviously you don't want to spoil things for people, but if someone had told me the plot of this, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. Like, I'm not seeing this because I expect a very, very well paced out, perfectly like character-driven story. This is just a stupid joke fest full of inside references. So the fact that they actually got me with a Juggernaut, I was like, that's fucking cool. Granted, you knew exactly who it was the second they went to the prison, and it was like, something big's down there. I'm like, is it the motherfucking Juggernaut?
That's so funny because I was like, who could it be? I never thought
that Juggernaut or Blob, but I assumed it was Juggernaut because we hadn't seen him in a while.
Sun's getting low, big guy.
Sun's getting low,
Oh
big
my
guy.
god, so many good jokes like that.
What a fucking great joke.
I mean, but again, on the flip side, there is, hey, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, calling Negasonic Teenage Warhead, like.
But that was like the
they did
sixth joke of that.
They did call it Justin Bieber too.
Justin
which was
Bieber was
hilarious.
so good.
That part made me laugh.
That was good.
But
Yeah.
mostly because Wade Wilson was laughing at the fact that he
called
called.
him
He was like,
Justin
"Hey, he
Bieber."
called you Justin Bieber." Like that part made me laugh.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of like, and they even referenced the fact that they were doing the same type of T.J. Miller. You look like a fucking raisin with the
avocado.
blood.
He even
Like,
said avocado.
yeah, like
Avocado, yeah.
when he said I guess was it the baby leg scene? I'm not sure,
God,
but
that scene.
But the
fucking
went on
hilarious.
way too long.
Well,
Yeah,
that
it
scene was
so-
just a copy of the hand, but done
with the
even
legs.
further.
Yeah, the
they
ba-
had a bigger budget.
the baby
and
leg
you felt
scene.
it.
Yeah. They squandered it on a baby leg scene.
I loved it though. I
as
loved it.
T.J. Miller was about to say, you look like Deadpool goes, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Like as if he like, here comes that T.J.
Well,
Miller joke.
T.J. Miller's like avocado, right?
Yeah, he started saying
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he said you look like an avocado had sex with another avocado in the first one, right?
Yeah.
And it was like horrible and cathartic or something like that. TJ Miller, I thought, was underutilized in this, but I think that was probably by design, given all
Sure.
the controversy that surrounded him leading up to the film. Obviously, like the person, I think Laura Schuler Donner, the producer, had been asked point blank, "Hey, are you going to cut him out of the film?" And she's like, "We can't at this point."
Yeah.
So I think they probably made some. I would guess they made a couple edits there to kind of minimize his role because you're right. I think Andy, you made the observation that like by the third act he's just kind of not in the movie anymore. He just kind of falls off. So that's unfortunate, and I think a lot of his humor was downplayed. What I thought was absolutely the best and stupidest of all the moments was the fact that he goes through all the trouble to put this team together. And I thought one of two things was going to happen.
that
One,
was
that Peter was going to last the entire
best.
time,
Yep.
or they just, I did not expect all of them to die
That was
immediately.
fucking hilarious because it was all foreshadowed.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was like, hey, like in the news, it's just randomly they're like it's really high winds.
Yeah.
And later they're like, hey, the winds are really strong.
Yeah.
And then again later, as they're about to jump, it was like,
They're all
hey,
fucking-
we should probably not do this.
Yeah.
And they all die. And it was, I feel like their deaths were really funny. And then Brad Pitt.
As what is it?
Who would've ever-
as Vanisher. The
Vanisher.
Which,
Yeah.
by the way, I thought I was like, is it just a fucking parachute that's no one's in it? And then it got up, and I was like, oh no, there's someone there.
yeah.
There's someone there. And then just like a shout out to Brad Pitt for doing that half day of work.
Yeah.
Good for him. Probably was just his face they photoshopped onto
Maybe
it.
he just took a photo with his cell phone or something.
Probably. And they were just like, we can use your picture. We'll just digitize you. I thought the fact that they let Zazie Beetz' character Domino last the whole movie, I thought that was a strong choice because I
Yeah.
think she was actually really compelling and fun to watch. And the idea of like her power was actually very well used and kind of clever, which I thought was cool.
There was some really bad CGI in that.
Oh
those traffic
God!
scene.
When she was like running,
There
it
was
was
some
like
really
it was
good
like the
CGI
Spider-Man 2002 CGI.
No, there was
not
nothing on
not
that
only the
level.
running, but there's a specific scene where a Prius turns into a gas station and it explodes.
Yeah, that was
and the Prius
bad.
looked like a fucking Need for Speed Underground cutscene. It looks so bad, man. And that's why when you're like, this is a big budget movie, I was like, man, some of this doesn't
Dude,
look big
yeah,
budget
but like
though, man.
the last fight, like you could tell they spent a lot of money
Yeah,
on that.
they did.
Like, 'cause that looked good.
CGI fight fit. What did he say?
CGI, yeah, Slugfest. Something like that.
Slugfest. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
But, like, that looked
Colossus
good.
fights.
And like I actually really enjoyed that fight. Colossus and Juggernaut.
And Juggernaut. That was fun. We saw Juggernaut's butt. That was
Yeah.
cool. He got a power stick shoved or a power
Sure.
line shoved up his ass.
Yeah.
I also love that Negasonic. Is it Negasonic?
Negasonic.
Yeah, and
Teenage Warhead.
Yukio did literally nothing the entire time. They did one thing.
But
I
they
thought
were
was
great.
hilarious.
They're cute.
Hi, Wade. Hi, yeah.
Adorable couple.
Hey, wait.
I also like
you make such a cute couple.
shout out to the cameo from the entire First Class cast,
That
which was awesome.
That moment made me laugh so hard.
That was so. They're just like,
because
shut
it
the
was
door. We don't want
again
to deal with
the
him.
same joke from the first movie, but now it had the payoff of like,
a little bit of payoff.
Oh, they're actually there. They just don't want
Just
to.
don't want to hang out. Like Beast is there and like Quicksilver was there.
I did miss.
Although age
the
wise,
line,
I feel
though.
like they were off.
oh yeah, 100%.
I feel like Quicksilver was like
Quicksilver would be
now?
like 40 years older.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was
we
weird.
we all
But
kind of
whatever.
laughed at the. We were laughing so hard that we missed whatever the next few lines were. I wanted to hear what Wade said after that because he kind of mentions that nobody's ever here in this place, and then they show him. We all laugh, and kind of the similar thing happened in like Thor Ragnarok, where you sort of laugh over some jokes that follow it. You know,
Sure. I'm trying to think if there are any other stand. Oh, I shout out to the I forget the character's name, but the cab driver. Well, I thought he was fun this time.
I felt like this time I was just like, all right, dude, you want to be part of the team, and that's why they got Peter.
But that was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was like, "You're right," and he's like, "Motherfucker."
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of the jokes were wasted on the trailers.
I would
Where,
give
like,
you that.
I didn't see too many trailers, and still there were so many moments where I was like, oh man, I know what's exactly gonna happen.
Well-
we had a couple moments where like the whole like the Peter you're in thing, and then it pans over to him, and he's like drops all the shit. Yeah.
But there was also the moment where he was like trying to ricochet the bullets, and they kept shooting him.
Yeah.
And in the trailer, he
They
was
use
like,
a different.
"Wow,
They use a different line, and I
your
did
bullets
not
are
like
really
it.
fast." And I love
in that
line
trailer.
better,
In the trailer, it was way better instead of just ow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That
was
was
funny
dumb. It
in
was funny,
retrospect, but in that moment, it
No.
didn't pop the same way.
I love the out of breath, like your bullets are really fast.
Yeah.
like that moment in every time I watch a trailer, I
Yeah, it was
laughed.
really
I didn't
good.
like the line that they used
yeah,
in the movie.
it's too bad they cut that out.
The young Australian kid who plays Fire Fist,
Fire Fist,
I thought was like a pretty good actor with a lot of bad lines.
Yeah.
And it reminds
give him much.
It reminds me of Hella, where Hella was sort of given some comedic lines that
here
maybe
we
didn't
go.
pop.
With the Hella look. He always comes back to that bad look that Hella gives right before the immigrant song. You hate it.
Wait, what?
What
Or is
bad
that
look?
you? What if
No,
you hated the
maybe
look
not.
she gives? Maybe it was Tim.
No, it's
Continue.
Tim.
Is
It's
it
Tim. Yeah.
You don't like the look.
No, but this is with the same kid. Like I think he was a good actor, and there were moments where he's screaming. It's like, oh, he's delivering these lines really well, but
yeah, he definitely had a lot of.
they
bad
give him
lines.
some like really bad comedic lines. And I just did not
It's
like
just
it.
the end. At the end of the day, a lot of what they're supposed to be doing and the motivations are very thin. It's
Damn, it
just
feels
really
good to be a gangster.
Yeah, I
Like,
hated
it's
that
just
line.
really,
Hated, like,
um,
oh, get out of here.
an excuse to move them from joke to joke. And again, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, why would the kid, after this gigantic thing, flip him off and then do the mime rope thing?
That was funny.
You know why? Because it was
funny.
fucking hilarious.
It's
That's
funny,
why.
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
that
but who
was one of the
cares?
few. I think maybe the only moment that
It's
where
fucking
he had a
funny.
funny part.
Yeah.
Because
fucking who cares?
there were other lines
There
in
was-
the jail that I was
in the
just
jail
like,
cell, yeah,
stop.
where it was
I
like,
don't-
why?
I don't want you to be this type of character.
No.
I want you to be
Yeah.
like
I peed during that.
I don't
scene.
know. Oh yeah, you
I
did.
just
yeah.
left. I was like, this is where they're going to
I
get.
hate that
He's
you
going to
do
bond
that.
to the kid, and he's going to want to save the kid.
They
and I get
didn't.
it.
No, they went the
No,
opposite with
They
that.
go the opposite way.
Yeah, where he was like, "Fuck off, kid."
He was like, I'm not your friend.
Yeah.
Because you walked back, you're like, what I miss? I was like, they got fucked up.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk a little bit before we wrap this up about some of the shit talking that they did in this movie. And then I feel again they ruined some of it. I think they ruined the best line in the trailer where he's like, "Wow, so dark. Are you sure you're not part of the DC universe?" That
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I really wish they had
A
showed
wasted
that because that
joke
would have been
that-
a
yeah.
great."
'Cause we
joke
saw it
midway
coming.
through. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I was hoping they would have fixed. I was hoping they were going to redo that, like the bullet line, but they didn't do that. That one
The
was a
Thanos
missed opportunity.
line?
Thanos line was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The fact that he does a shout out to Goonies, which we saw in the trailers, but
Yeah.
I caught again this time. I was like, that was pretty good.
What's it called?
One-Eyed Willy.
One-Eyed Willy. He calls him One-Eyed Willy because they were
Yeah.
looking for One-Eyed Willy's treasure. They were looking for Chester Copperpot. No, Chester Copperpot was looking for One-Eyed Willy's treasure. Doesn't matter. It was a Goonies reference. I liked the post-credit scenes where they
The
went back
post-credit
and
scenes-
just
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
tried to retcon everything.
Like I think that the post credit scenes might be the best part of the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
easily.
Like in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
like
easily.
I loved it.
What was the last one?
When he goes back
The
and
Green
shoots him in the
Lantern.
fucking
Yeah.
head for reading the green. This year you made it to the big time. You made it
What
to the
a
big
good moment. What a good moment.
Ah,
But also
better.
him killing the other Deadpool.
Oh, that was great.
Another
yeah.
like great like oh
I wonder if they
thank
had to
you.
pay
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman for that because he was in the movie. Technically.
sure,
You think
yeah.
they had to pay him.
Yeah,
Wait.
probably. I'm sure like union
It
wise
wasn't-
they
it-
have to
I mean,
get
it was
paid,
just
right?
it was just the original scene.
Yeah.
but I wonder how that works out.
It was a great moment. I loved it, and then I loved killing Green Lantern, and then we read I read later on while we were waiting for the next post-credit sequence.
Which
it
never
didn't
happened.
happen, and even though I told them, but we still waited there.
Well,
Sounds
we
like you were
didn't
saying
believe
like there might be one.
Well,
We should
Joey-
say just in
No,
case.
didn't
Yeah,
know.
you didn't seem sure, and Joey already
No,
failed
I
us.
was really dizzy because of the lack of Reese's Pieces.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Joey, Kevin's poor blood sugar was very low.
We found
Still is.
out that there was a scene that they had planned, and they shot it actually to go back and kill baby Hitler. And there's like a scene of Wade like hovering over a baby cradle, and it's like 1940s 1900s or whatever Germany, and they killed the baby. But I guess either it didn't test well. They didn't. The article didn't make it clear as to whether they even shot it, but it said that like it didn't test well. So I'm assuming they
It
did.
seemed like
Super
complete
twisted.
opposite of the point of the movie, where it's like it's just because of kids.
Don't kill kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
He found his sort of morality.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
Real
Last
quick, for
thoughts?
little things that like it noticed, like little Easter eggs. I think that the most glaring one is the name of the school that they were at,
What was it?
the Essex school. Essex is Nathaniel Essex, which is Mr. Sinister.
Oh, cool.
So I thought that there was going to be more of a Mr. Sinister.
Interesting.
Yeah, the guy that looked that.
I thought it was just a location.
Like Essex, New York.
Is
I don't
it?
know.
Isn't
That's
it?
what I thought.
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. Well, as far as like X-Men go, I know Essex because of Mr. Sinister.
Kind of makes
okay.
sense though,
And
because
that
it wasn't
guy-
Sinister like taking all their powers and like
Yeah,
making
yeah,
super
he was like
mutants,
experimenting on them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I was hoping that there'd be a little bit something there, but there wasn't.
Maybe he lives. Maybe it was Sinister,
Yeah.
and he has like.
Yeah.
That's
goes
the
by.
guy, the orderly that gets shot in the head in the beginning. I was
The
like,
one
he really looks like.
The guy called Jared.
Jared Kushner.
Yeah, Jared Kushner. That was
Great
fucking
line.
hilarious.
Fucking great line. We took on
so fucked up.
I beat up a Cape Crusader, but we found out our mothers shared the
Both
same
name are
name.
Martha.
Or whatever.
Both-
Yeah.
it turns out both
There
our
were
name-
so
mom's
many
names are
good
Martha.
lines like that where they were
Yeah.
out of like.
Oh, what a fucking great line. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of that stuff, and then a lot of the stuff with him and the girl, like his girlfriend, just seems like really weird banter back and forth.
Oh.
Kiss me red, all that stuff. I just don't know. Then there was some heartfelt moments. I mean, that's the thing. Again, this is a smorgasbord of some good stuff and some whatever stuff, and you just kind of go through it and enjoy it.
Another thing is in the comics, one of the reasons like he falls in love with death when he dies, and then comes back to life, and then Thanos curses him and makes him immortal.
Mm-hmm.
Because Thanos is also in love with death. It was really cool that like when he would die or like get close to death, he would go and see his girlfriend
Mhm.
and to have that shared moment. Kind of seemed like a little throw to that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Gentlemen, any last words about Deadpool 2?
No.
All right. Well, there
I
you
really
have
liked it.
everyone.
That's my last words.
Enjoyable experience. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Everyone out there listening and watching, thank you so much for indulging in our content. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you're watching this on youtube.com/kindafunny right now, and ring that bell for that notification. Hit that bad boy, because we got a lot more of these reviews coming up. We have a whole new series that we're going to do in a couple weeks, but we're not going to tell you what it is
I think
yet.
it's sooner than that.
It's
I think
when
it
I-
might be the next.
Well, I think Solo we have next week.
Oh, you're right.
And
So
then
I'll
week
just spoil it
after
right
that-
now. It's Air Bud.
Oh, fucking Andy.
and there's 9
Why
of
do
them.
you always have to? No, it was supposed to be Tremors was the stupid joke we were going to try to tell people.
There's 6 of those.
Anyway, we got a lot of great stuff coming up for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye.
Love it.